As some of you at least know, football is not my thing. It just isn't. After last night, it feels embarrassing to say that. It sounds like the most terrible sort of, I don't know, pseudo something snobbishness. It just isn't. Uh, one of my one of my oldest friends is an obsessive supporter of well, shall we say, a London club, and he and I used to share a flat not far from that club's ground. And in the time we were there, I was, because of his zeal, I got pretty well versed in the history of that team and the progress it was making. And I went with him to a couple of games. But it never lit a flame for me. It never became something that I cared about, which has always left me rather on the sidelines, to use an appropriate metaphor, particularly in a year like this, as the excitement around a big tournament builds and is of such passionate concern to millions of people. And it leaves me, and I suspect I'm not alone, it leaves me feeling a bit sad that this is something that largely passes me by and that I'm just not engaged with. So last night I did watch nearly the whole of the final. Now, just about everything that the commentators said, I failed to understand. They might as well have been speaking Chinese, so far as I was concerned. No, of course, I was not immune to the tension of the penalty shootout. I got that. And looking at the faces of some of those young players, I appreciated something of the human drama that the game involves. But still, I didn't feel it in the way that I know an awful lot of people do. It has left me wondering how many people feel about church the way I feel about football. They know it's there. They know that there are people who care about it. They're not uninterested in it, or they're not antagonistic towards it, but it's just never landed for them. And when they, or when I, stick my nose around the door, well, I mean, I like it well enough, but it fails to connect. I wonder if for people who don't go to church, I wonder if coming to a carol service or attending a wedding or a christening, I wonder if that's a bit like me tuning into the final of the Euros, dipping a toe into, something that's unfamiliar. I wonder. If that's what it is like for them, then I guess that those of us who in church are already in the stadium or on the pitch, I guess it's our responsibility to make sure that they have the best possible experience of the environment we know, the best possible experience they possibly can have. And just thinking overnight, what are the three things that for me might make that the best experience? Well, I think the three I've come up with are welcome, order, strange word, but I'll come to it, and tone. Welcome probably speaks for itself. If I'm honest, one of the things that makes me reticent about football is a sense that it's not quite for me. It's for people like Dan, my friend, season ticket holders, shirt wearers, those people who know the boot size of every member of the squad. Well, church, I believe, church is for everyone. It really is. It's for everyone. But I bet it doesn't look that way. I bet it looks like it's for England shirt wearers or obsessive boot size geeks. I bet that's what it looks like. How do we make people welcome in church? Not just by smiling at them at the door, although that's really important, but how do we just communicate that this place and its way of life and what it stands for is for them? It really is for them. How does what the website looks like, how does what the building itself looks like, how does that communicate welcome, this is or might be for you? Then order, well, yes, strange word, and difficult to put my finger on, really. But when I turn up to an unfamiliar environment, if I were to have turned up at Wembley last night, in an unfamiliar environment, I need to know that somebody knows what's going on, and that it won't all be down to me. If I turned up at Wembley, I would expect somebody to, I'd expect to be marshalled through whatever system to my seat, and I'd expect the players to turn up on the pitch and play. It wouldn't be it wouldn't somehow be for me to make all that happen. And I'd expect it to go ahead, and that I would be allowed to find my own place, find my own space, my own speed within what was going on. Well, I think there's something about that in churches. They need a bit of confidence. We need a bit of confidence in what we're doing, so that the stranger can poke their nose round the door. They can look on, they can look in, and they can join in a way that's right for them. And then third thing, tone. I said I barely understood a word of what the pundits were saying in their commentary last night, but they didn't talk down to me, and that's really important. I wasn't patronised by them, and I really wouldn't want to be patronised in church. Bishop Nick once used a memorable phrase about we come to church, he said, to do serious business with God, serious business. And I think that's the case, whether our attendance is very frequent or whether it's the first time we've been in. We may not realise how serious the business is, but it is, because church is all about that really important stuff: birth and life and death, and church has things to say about all of those. We don't do anyone any favours by pretending otherwise or by talking down to them. So, I don't know whether you're a football fan or a churchgoer, or maybe both. thank you very much for being here tonight. Have a very good evening. God bless.